No, you don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, just kidding.
All right, welcome to our. What number are we on, Matt? You know.
I don't
49?
know.
50?
49,
We're on episode E3.
Yes.
Well, 50 would be
We'll call it
perfect if
special
it
to
was
a cast.
50.
Non-canon.
Yeah.
The E3 special edition would join, and I'm joined by our LA crew, who's actually at E3. So they'll be doing most of the talking. I'll just sit back and listen, because you guys don't want to hear from me, because I don't know anything. So, but first I want to start with what you guys just came from, not IHOP. Before that, so, tell us about the round table.
I guess we introduce ourselves. So, if you guys, I'm the usual host, but James is taking over. But I'm Matthew Paxton, the multimedia manager here at PNM and PureNintendo.com. And I, along with these two people, checked out Project Steam, which is the upcoming 3DS title, the new IP that was promised by Nintendo.
Codename Steam?
Yep, Codename Steam.
Mm-hmm.
What does that stand for? Soldier.
It was, yes,
Strike Team Eliminating
Alien
Menace.
Alien Menace.
I can't, there's a whole room full of journalists, and it took 20 minutes for someone to ask that question.
No, it actually took 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
I know. I was like, man, why didn't someone answer that before? Or why didn't they explain what it was before? Because it was clearly an acronym. But yeah, I guess you want to know what we thought about the game?
Yeah, because I've only seen, there's only been 4 screens really out there, so I don't know.
Well, it looks really good. The graphics are similar to what you might see in like Dylan's Rolling Western. They're fully 3D polygonal graphics. It's a third-person shooter perspective, so it's right behind the character you're playing as. And then you kind of have a grid-based system, so that's kind of the strategy element that they were talking about. But your character doesn't really have to move in like a fixed grid. They can kind of cruise wherever they want, just using the Steam up as they go. But the game looked really good. I like the style.
Mm-hmm.
Characters look good. What do you guys think?
Who are you again? Who are you again?
I'm Justin Sharp, founder of the website magazine.
I'm Caitlin.
We're not introducing ourselves. We're getting right into the game.
We got more important things to talk about. Like
Yeah, we gotta go.
Well, when I have to convert these to audio podcasts, people gotta know who's speaking.
That's true. This is non-canon. What do you guys think?
About the
Codename Steam, yeah.
I liked it. It wasn't what I was expecting. You know, I wanted a Majora's Mask or something, but it looks pretty cool. I think I might check into it. I don't play many turn-based games like that, but it looked interesting enough to give it a chance, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in seeing how they deliver on their promise of this mesh between a first-person shooter and a turn-based strategy game.
Third-person shooter.
Third-person shooter. Well, they kept quoting first-person shooter.
Yeah, they kept mixing it up themselves.
It's over the shoulder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's down on the ground, and it's only about, you can control 4 characters at a time, and you can kind of switch off between the characters and kind of get recon views and stuff like that. Movements and other actions take a little plus of steam, so you have to manage that pretty well. And there's like a mechanic to like recover steam, but there's like penalties to that as well. So it definitely seems like a really interesting thing. They've got some nice mechanics for like both the newcomers and people who are looking for more challenge. People who are by the way, I should say, it's Nintendo and its intelligent systems. So anybody who remembers those games come to mind, don't worry, there's no permadeath. That was covered in the Q&A. Because they want each of these characters to be more essential to the team as a whole.
Yeah, so Fire Emblem Awakening, you have that permadeath thing, but they felt like that's not a very fun mechanic. You know, if people don't want their characters to die, they're having to repeat the level over and over until they get it before they get through it without someone dying. So they felt like it was more fun to not have the permadeath in there. I think that's true, and I think they're trying to create a strategy game that's trying to appeal to more people. I think they mentioned that strategy games are kind of a niche genre, and they want to try and broaden that they felt like putting the third-person perspective in there, the shooter aspect, that it'll be instantly recognizable to people. They actually said that shooters are very intuitive types of games because you immediately know when you're doing something right in a shooter game and when you're doing something wrong. If you're doing something right and the enemy falls and you got him, you immediately see the feedback, With a strategy game, you may move a guy 4 or 5 times and you may not know if you made the right move or not until 10 moves later. So it's a cool idea they're doing. The disappointing thing that I thought just from the initial look at it was the maximum of 4 players. You can only have 4 players maximum on the field, and I thought that was kind of a bummer because in Fire Emblem and Advance Wars, other intelligent systems games, you can have several units all on the field at the same time, and I don't know, it makes it a little more interesting. With just having 4, I'm just wondering how the variety is going to keep up after long battles, but they did have some cool gameplay mechanics that showed off. So that's what I think. Codenames team.
So, is it like? Do you think it's gonna be a must-buy? Like, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by the screens that I saw. Like, it sounded really cool, but the screens they had are a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah. Well, the screenshots probably don't do it justice at all.
Have you seen the videos at all?
No, I haven't seen the videos.
They'll probably do it tomorrow.
They showed during the pressure. They showed us a couple of videos, and just to see how very stylized this game is. It's inspired off of or the art director. What was her name?
Takako.
Yeah, Takako. She was very inspired by Jack Kirby comics and a lot of the Silver Age comics and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's what the art style that you can see here, especially in the cutscenes. They don't have flowing movements like you see in the actual gameplay. It's just dynamic comic panels, complete with the onomatopoeia and stuff, and even the to be continued that kind of scrolls on the bottom.
Yeah, that text speech bubbles, very comic book like. And I mentioned in one of my tweets, but I thought the visual style looked very much like Beautiful Joe.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't think about that.
Kind of cel-shaded, and Beautiful Joe was like that, where you have these weird speech bubbles and the jagged bubbles for reactions and the onomatopoeia, those sorts of things. It just seemed very reminiscent of that graphically, I guess.
I agree with that.
But the steampunk is really cool. They showed off a bunch of airships in London. It's obviously fictional. It's London set in the 19th century, so the 1850s, or later. Lincoln's obviously around, so it's obviously 1850s, 1860s, something like that.
I never actually thought about that. Does it make sense to have Lincoln in there, timeline-wise? Because there's Zeppelins in there, so everything kind of goes out the window from there.
Yeah. Because at first I saw the airships and I was like, oh, this is going to be turn of the century. 1910, 1920, something like that when Zeppelins were big, 20s, 30s. But, they kind of throw that out the window. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game Nostalgia on the Nintendo DS.
Nah.
Very heavily steampunk airship. It's an RPG game that I think Atlas made. But very cool game and actually very reminiscent of this. It's actually set in real-world Earth in that time period, but obviously mixed in with the airships and all that, as if that was how the future went.
And of course, this is all the very beginning too. We just started hearing about this, and we'll obviously get more news as it goes by. But I'm pretty interested in seeing where they're going to go with this. It's a new IP, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, and I think there were people behind us that wanted a Majora's Mask really bad. They kept before the thing, they're like, it's a Majora's Mask, it's a Majora's Mask, and I was like, I don't think so. But they were just really excited for that, and so I feel like people probably put their hopes up for something bigger, and so maybe a new IP is probably not what people wanted. But how many times have people said in the past Nintendo needs to make a new IP, or Nintendo needs to do a shooter game, or So I feel like it's going to be a good thing in the end. I think just people are maybe initially bummed. I don't know.
I was quite bummed that there was no Super Metroid.
Yeah, no Metroid.
No Metroid at all.
Yeah, no Metroid at all. Yeah.
I want to move on to the Nintendo Digital event. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I want to get to what you guys been playing and your impressions of games. But real quick, what did you guys think of the Nintendo Digital event, and how did you think of their new semi-new format from last year? Did it work better than last year? Like with the Treehouse and the digital event and all that.
I feel like the Treehouse was very successful for people who are streaming, but for like members of the press like us who like fly out here to LA, I still think we would like the traditional presser experience. You can live stream it online. That's all well and good for like the audience, but I love the physical sensation of being there and like having like Miyamoto or having Fizumi come out and just kind of talk about these games and like talk about what Nintendo wants to do for the future and just kind of like build it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, the digital event would be a good like sidebar to have as well, like kind of like what they did last year, where they had the digital event that streamed this morning, and then immediately after was the Nintendo presser.
Mm-hmm. Or the little thing where you could interview with the developers that they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that the digital event was way more effective than last year's.
Yeah, it was really cool.
The Nintendo Direct last year, I thought there was so much talking, so much Iwata just standing there on a white backdrop, just kind of introducing games. But I felt like it was different. I like that they called it something different. They called it a digital event because it wasn't a Nintendo Direct. And I think it was clearly not a Nintendo Direct by the way they filmed it and the way they produced it, because they had like these funny little shorts in between, like the Robot Chicken, animation style. The thing where they had Reggie fighting Iwata doing the Smash Brothers thing, that was really cool.
It's interesting because these are all videos that, like, if we did the physical pressure, these are all videos that would have been shown anyway. I don't feel like they would have been changed at all.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. So I thought it was definitely more effective than a simple Direct would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And of course, James, I know you're happy because they announced Star Fox.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah.
After 6 years of predicting it, finally.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to say, that does not mean you're ahead, because Justin also predicted Star Fox.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. I just looked at the page this morning.
It may have been a previous year.
No, it was 2014.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
I thought you dropped it this year.
I thought I did too. Like when you mentioned it, I was like, I don't think I put Star Fox on there. But maybe I did. I don't know.
I was keeping scores.
Yeah. Matt checked it, I guess.
Anyways, with the Treehouse, I haven't watched a lot of it, but I got a glimpse at an article that Jay Money's writing, and he mentioned that the Treehouse kept Nintendo relevant. Because if you think about it, after Monday, Sony and Microsoft's like, well, we're done.
Yeah.
And you don't really hear about them. Now Nintendo, everyone's constantly talking about Nintendo because they're doing something every minute of the show, basically.
I didn't think about that.
That's a good point.
They get relevant throughout the whole 3 days.
Yeah.
I know Treehouse definitely got a lot of positive buzz on Twitter, as well as on Facebook. People were, kind of kept watching it, and I mean, it definitely also gave people or let people know that Nintendo is still confident in both of their systems, especially in this year, which is just full of rumors about new hardware and stuff like that. So it's definitely good to see Nintendo still very enthusiastic about their presence at E3 this year.
Yeah, and you could tell they were really, emphasizing the Wii U, showing off a ton of games. I mean, how many of the? I mean, we didn't even expect the new Kirby game, Yoshi Yarn had been pseudo-announced a long time ago.
Kirby Canvas Curse, Project Robot, Project Capture.
Yeah.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mario Party 10,
Mario Maker.
I mean, they had a ton of Wii U stuff. And I thought it was interesting that they didn't even announce the codename Steam until tonight. And I kind of think the reason they didn't put it in the digital event is because they wanted mostly Wii U games in there. They didn't really want to focus on 3DS too much because it's the Wii U that really needs the help, I guess,
Keep yawning.
So I guess the big game we need to talk about, is the Zelda trailer. What do you guys think of that?
It was awesome.
I almost had to hold Justin's hand while that was going on. He was like, he stopped breathing at one point. He didn't blink. He was just kind of up like this.
Yeah, I was a little lethargic and unresponsive. Thankfully, there was some sniffing salts.
Yeah.
And,
Once we woke us up, we watched the rest of the
yeah.
direct or the presser.
But who do you? Because there's been reports that Anuma said that no one ever said that was Link in the trailer. And
Yeah.
there's some fans that are running off that maybe Link may be a girl, or Link may not be the main character, which I think is a little bit of a stretch. And maybe Link's a girl, because people actually dissected the character and was like, hey, it has feminine features and all that, and I think I see other feminine features, and so people think that Link's actually a girl in this Zelda.
Well, I mean, it's funny they were saying that they think it's a girl. We were thinking it may actually be Zelda.
Hoping.
You know, like you may actually play as Zelda maybe for the first part of the game or something like that.
Or you switch back and forth.
Or switch, switch back and forth. One thing, before the round table tonight, I actually sat next to Jose Otero, I think. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But he is the editor over at IGN for the Nintendo stuff, the Nintendo side of things. He said that they're posting an article tonight that should give more information on who it actually is in that trailer.
Nice.
Whether it's Link or Zelda or somebody else. But he said to check it out later. He's like, I can't say anything about it, but he's like, we did have an interview, and he mentioned some more details, because what Anuma mentioned that in the Treehouse interview, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So they may have some more info on that. I don't know. He may have just been blowing smoke, but so we may hear some more about that tonight or tomorrow or something.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
He was just showing it off in front of Trenton and who was the other guy, Mike or something, right?
Yeah. Mark
yeah.
Franklin.
Yeah, Mark Franklin.
Been, yeah. But I love it. I think the style looks really good. It looks like Skyward Sword a lot, but maybe even a little more Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm.
A little more cell shaded than even Skyward Sword was. But I love the detail, like when they zoom in on the arrow when he's about to fire, like.
Or she.
Yeah, he or she. Yeah. Like the detail on the arrow and everything. It's still cell shaded, but it's nicely detailed. It's not cartoony cell shaded quite as much as Wind Waker was.
And I enjoyed listening about our Numa statements about the distance, where he said you can see those mountains up ahead, and if you wanted to, you can walk there, which really implies that this is going to be a huge title. I also enjoyed him saying that there are multiple ways to get into dungeons and areas like that, and that could be a puzzle within itself. And if anybody remembers Link to the Past, the dungeon in the Dark World version where the forest is.
Yeah, Lost Woods.
Yeah, the Lost Woods area. You can go in and out in different points of the dungeon. So I really enjoyed that. So I hope we see much more of that in this new Wii U title.
Yeah, I couldn't help thinking Skyrim. I've always wanted a Zelda Skyrim, and that's almost exactly like it could be. And then I realized why I love Wind Waker so much is because it's so open. I like when he brought Wind Waker up, and hey, with Wind Waker we were able to have just random islands you can go to, and not a lot of the Zelda games had that till that point. I like that Wind Waker had that analogy he used with Wind Waker, and I like that this now, like you're saying, you can go. Who knows what's on top of that mountain? It could be a secret treasure. It could be nothing that has nothing to do with the game. Just helps you. Like Skyward Sword is not Skyward Sword.
So we're gonna be playing a lot in this game when it comes out.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I hope we hear more sooner rather than later. I hope we don't have to wait till next E3 for another trailer. I'm sure now that they've actually shown a brief trailer, they showed off quite a bit. I mean, remember when Skyward Sword was revealed? They just showed that artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a whole year to speculate about it before they showed off the next trailer. And that next trailer showed Link jumping off a ledge. And what? So hopefully there's more soon.
What other games stood out to you guys?
Unfortunately, we couldn't see any kind of gameplay of Project X for the second year, so.
Oh,
it was
Xenoblade?
Xenoblade. Yeah, that's right.
Xenoblade
It's got a name now.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Or Cross. I think they were calling it Cross.
Cross, were they? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I guess in Japanese they call it Cross or something.
But yeah, so You know, we didn't see any gameplay of that, or we just saw like footage and trailers and stuff like that. So that was very unfortunate.
Yeah. They actually have it on the show floor, but it's just the video. I was like, I don't even know why you have a kiosk just dedicated to the video, but that's all right.
Like that fooled me a couple times. Like, oh, let's go get some gameplay. Oh wait, that's not.
Yeah, it's just the video.
What else kind of stood out? Mario Maker was pretty nice.
Yeah, Mario Maker was really cool. I think we'll be able to do a lot of stuff in that they didn't show us. I was asking about underwater levels and stuff, and they couldn't tell us, so we'll see. But Splatoon stood out a lot. Me and Justin got a chance to play that, and we got some footage, and it was a lot better than I thought it would be. We kicked butt the first time. We did pretty good.
We did. Our team won pretty handily.
I didn't get footage of that, but I did get footage of them losing. So.
There we go.
I like it. Another title that stood out to me was the Captain Toad game.
Oh yeah, that took me by surprise.
Yeah. Oh, and Yoshi was really good. The co-op aspect is really fun in that one.
Yeah, I kept accidentally swallowing Justin or
eating him, spitting me out. It was pretty fun though. It reminds me a lot of Kirby Epic Yarn. But the Captain Toad game is really cool. It uses the gamepad really well. Another game that used the gamepad really well was the Mario Party 10.
Mm-hmm. One person with the controller will be Bowser, and the other people will be the helpless people.
Yeah. It's like a 5-player Mario Party game.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So I got to be Bowser with the gamepad, and then they all had Wii remotes or whatever controllers, and they had some really unique uses for it. There was one where you use the gamepad and you move it around using the motion control, and you would shoot fireballs out. And so you're looking around, press A to shoot a fireball at, people running around on there. And that one was really cool. There was another one where you use the gamepad and you hold it kind of flat, and then you kind of move it around like a marble table puzzle game. And it has these rows of fire, and it tilts and it catches up with them, and you can burn them and stuff like that. There was another one where you could swipe on the screen and it rotated this giant mouse wheel that they're all running inside, and there's like electrical fences in there. And as Bowser, you can make it, then you can stop it, and they run into the electric fence, and you can do all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be great for people that like to be jerks.
So, of course, Justin was very good at it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The Nintendo staff said he was eerily good at the evil laugh that he did.
Yeah, and they said I could be a voice actor for Bowser.
They did not say that. So he offered his services, and they didn't say anything.
I gave the offer. I think they took it. I didn't hear a no, so.
Didn't hear anything. There you go. Of course, we haven't brought up Smash Brothers at all.
Oh yeah, we didn't even bring up Smash Brothers.
Okay, I read this today that Smash Brothers, I think this is what it said, is that it's faster than Brawl, but slower still than Melee.
I thought it was
because they're more powerful.
Of course, I took control of Little Mac, and that guy just like that.
Little Mac is fast.
I thought it was extremely fast. I played a Zero Suit Samus, and she was like, I almost like fell off the map, just like moving around.
I did fall off the map, moving around.
So I thought it was really fast. I haven't played Melee in a while, but.
Well, what are you talking about? We just did.
Oh, you're right.
And I beat you.
That's right. We did play some Melee.
Yep.
But I honestly thought it was faster than Melee.
I thought it was faster than Melee too.
Yeah, I liked it.
I don't know. It was very responsive and fast. Even on the 3DS, I thought it was really fast and quick.
So how is the 3DS version?
Huh?
How is the 3DS version? Because I'm worried about the 3DS version is being in a small environment. Like, how does it feel?
Yeah, that was pretty much the only difference was the small screen, and I don't know if y'all seen, but you could make the lines around the characters thinner and thicker. I like that a lot better because I didn't like those dark outlines, but it looks really good for such a small screen. I liked it.
Yeah. I think you could play it easily enough, and it wasn't like too zoomed in, to be hard to play. So
there was some interesting aspects when I got a hold of it that I didn't even see, like when Enuma showed it off yesterday. Like the weapons that you can use, like the Horizon Beam was one. It's like a giant beam attack that takes care of like all enemies right in front of you. So it's like the Zero Beam almost.
Right.
And then there's like a spinning sword attack, and there's just these little buttons you can collect. You can click them on the touchscreen. And then like it'll attack for you. And that was a very interesting aspect. It's good because when you get overwhelmed, which I inevitably did several times, you can kind of like use one of those items to get out of a quick jam.
Yeah, it's cool they're using the touchscreen like that too, because mostly they had just showed the touchscreen for showing the percentage that your health was at. It's cool they had some variety.
Speaking of variety, it was good that at the end of the Smash run, it's not just a brawl using the stats that you collected. It could be any number of things. I ended up getting like a 1 minute critical, like 300% brawl, so I had to like try to survive my best there. Totally lost.
Yeah. It's kind of random. Could be a free for all. Could be team. Could be.
It could be a speed test or a special test.
Yeah. It was cool. What else?
Yeah, we didn't mention Smash Brothers almost because I was like, that's almost kind of like a default.
We've all been talking about Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
That took the show at Nintendo's floor.
Yeah, it really did. That was all you seen when you walked in there.
Yeah.
The big screen was really cool that everyone was playing on.
They have a giant screen, James, that's like 40 by 30 feet or something. That they have some people playing the Wii U version on.
We couldn't get in. We were busy working.
Yeah, it looks incredible though. Like even blown up at that size, the graphics look amazing. Like I didn't notice like much pixelation or loss of quality. It was really good.
How are the Nintendo lines this year?
The lines, Smash Brothers had the longest lines for sure, but Splatoon was probably a close second.
Yeah, Splatoon was strangely popular.
Yeah.
The whole floor was actually mobbed, and it was like very hard to get around with all the equipment that we had.
Yeah.
But that was bad for us, but that's good for Nintendo in the end because that means a lot of people were interested in checking out what they had to offer. It was actually a lot more crowded than it was last year, if you remember last year. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and they had a lot of positive buzz just around E3. Like I went to an appointment with the Skull Candy people, the headphone guys, and they hadn't even been on the show floor. And he was like, "Hey, so I hear Nintendo's having like their best E3 in years or something." So he hadn't even been on the show floor, but that was just what he was, hearing from people coming in and meeting with them to talk about the headphones. And I guess he said he hadn't even been impressed with what Microsoft and Sony had to offer, and then people would come in and said, they're just announced a few games, but most of them are coming out next year, so most people weren't really impressed with Microsoft and Sony showing. So I think Smash and Nintendo definitely took the show. So
I definitely have to go look and check out what the other shows did because I'm interested in Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what everybody concludes about, who won E3 or whatever.
I haven't heard who won E3 at all yet.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of odd. Usually people are already passing the sentence.
But I imagine we'll hear pretty soon, and I imagine most people would say Nintendo probably.
I would.
Yeah, even on, how they have that E3 Daily, James, that comes out as that little thing they hand you when you go to E3 for the day. Like on the cover, it mentioned like Nintendo's star-studded showing or something like that. So there was even just a lot of buzz in just the regular E3 magazine, which usually it's dominated by Microsoft
or last year Sony.
Yeah, Sony announcements, things like that.
Yeah, I think it's weird that Sony put on this big reduction. Their press conference was almost 2 hours long.
Wow.
And Nintendo did more in 47 minutes than Sony did in an hour and 50, whatever it ended up being.
Yeah, because Nintendo announced a ton of games in that time frame.
And
then a bunch of them they didn't announce that they just threw in the press release. Like, was Kirby even shown in the...
No, I thought it was.
It was?
It was traffic?
I remember it. Yeah, because you said Canvas Curse and then they showed Nightmare Curse. I remember that.
Maybe, yeah.
That's the only reason I know it's called Nightmare Curse.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong wasn't shown in there.
No.
And there was another one that wasn't shown in there, but... Oh, Mario Party. Mario Party wasn't shown in there.
No Mario Party.
Yeah. But yeah, so they just had a ton of stuff, and I just thought it was a really effective digital event. And I liked how they paced everything. I know I talked about that last year about Nintendo pacing things, and you need to end on a high note. You don't need to okay, that's it, bye. Reggie had a good high note. He's like, oh, one more thing. Let's see what Miyamoto's working on, and it was just kind of a brief teaser showing him playing Star Fox, and
Are you talking about it's blurred?
Yeah.
You don't know if it was Star Fox.
Oh, it's Star Fox.
You guys, clearly Star Fox.
Yeah, you guys. I was like, I don't know why they blurred it. I wonder if they blurred that after the. after the time leak, that Time article leaked. I wonder if they blurred it after that. I don't know why.
Well, that would have been stupid. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And why would they edit the digital event 2 hours prior to it airing?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I like
But yeah.
I like a Nintendo's feel, I guess. Like last year, the Nintendo X seemed a little bit desperate because it was like kind of like a fast-paced. Hey, look at all these games we have. But I like with the digital event, it seemed more chill. Like, yeah, here's the new Zelda. What up? Here's Yoshi's Island. What up? And then it's kind of like, yeah, and they're like, it seemed to be more back into their Nintendo groove, their kind of cockiness that they have. So from last year, they were super. They even begged the press last year, tell people about our games. That's what you need to do. But here they seem to be just cocky. They're back to the Nintendo cocky. Yeah, here's our games. What up? Go play.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're very like casual about, nonchalant about their announcements, but they had some pretty big, megaton type stuff. I mean, the Zelda trailer. I didn't know that we would get that much. Like I figured we may get like another CG trailer, not gameplay like they showed, and so they had quite a few big announcements, new games and things. So, and yeah, it just seemed like business as usual.
Any other games stood out to you guys?
Yeah, there's so many games.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about them. Like when we get some of the video footage out there, you'll definitely see like what we experienced there.
Besides Zelda and Brawl, what were your favorite games?
Do what?
Besides Brawl, what was your favorite game?
Sorry, hold on. There's a super loud cart going through. Okay, say it again.
Besides Smash Brothers, what was your favorite game?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like the Yoshi Woolly World. It's a lot of fun playing that. And Hyrule Warriors, yeah. I didn't get to play it, but I got to watch a lot of gameplay, and it looks awesome. I'm really glad you can play as Midna. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, how is that? How is Hyrule Warriors?
It was really good. I played the demo. It was a 10-minute demo, and it was a lot better than I thought it would be. The gameplay was really fun. It's
if you're familiar with the Warriors series in general, there's going to be a lot of conventions that are coming back and being translated into the Zelda universe. But they're also going to have a couple more things as well. They're going to have like a large boss. And it sounds like it's going to be the end of every level, which is actually much more of a change than you'll see from the standard Warriors series, which is always a plus.
Yeah, and the big boss they had that fire-breathing King Dodongo, and he was really cool. The other cool thing that I liked about it was the special attacks. You can play with different weapons with each character. That's something they didn't really bring out, but you can choose Link, but you can play with his sword, or you can play with a fire rod. And I played with the fire rod, and there were some really cool combos and special moves. You can fill up like this special meter, almost like a magic meter in Zelda, and then you can unleash that, and it unleashes like this huge, like spiraling fireball. But there were just really cool combos you could do, and you're obviously just fighting hordes and hordes of enemies. But there are some Zelda moments where you find like the bombs, you open up the treasure chest, just like in the Zelda game. So it looks like there'll be several other items and maybe weapons you can, get along the way in the levels. So I think it'll kind of have a little bit more of the Zelda feel to it than Dynasty Warriors, maybe improving on the Dynasty Warriors formula. So.
Yeah.
But I would say my favorite game, other than Smash Brothers, man, that's hard. I would say Captain Toad was really fun. I liked Yoshi Woolly World as well, but actually, no, I like the Kirby game. That's probably my favorite. The Kirby Rainbow Curse or Nightmare Curse or whatever it is.
Yeah, the claymation stuff was really neat looking.
Yeah, and I really liked Canvas Curse on the DS, and so I just felt right at home when I played Rainbow Curse. It's just really easy to draw the lines to accelerate Kirby. You tap on him to make him go faster. I thought it was a lot of fun. What's yours, Matt?
I like Mario Maker.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Mario.
It's a nice simple one, but I feel like it's one that I feel like it's one of the motives like what he really wanted to put out because It's basic mechanic or basic idea of how to like design a game. Yeah. Here's the pipe, extend it here, put enemies here, make them fly. Here put coins or put extra lives or something like that. And I mean, from what we've seen, it's kind of basic, but it's definitely like for people who are like interested in like level design. It seems like a very, very neat idea, like how to make it so people can just see what works and what doesn't work in a level. Just kind of get like some good inspiration going. So.
You guys think that was not a reaction, not in a negative way, to what was that game, Spark on Xbox One, which is a similar, you can create your own levels and characters.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a reaction to that or.
I mean, like a negative way, like that was like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do a Mario version of it. Like,
well, when was Spark?
They announced
it last year.
Okay.
It's sort of like Living Planet, I think. Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
You can create your own levels, things like that.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't even ask about Mario Maker, I wonder if you can share those levels.
Oh yeah, I bet you can.
I bet you can. That seems like a core fundamental thing.
Yeah.
Why create it if you can't share it with someone else? But I don't know why we didn't think about that. We didn't think to ask them about that.
Yeah.
Not that they would have told us. But.
They probably would have. Like, what else in the future? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Have we talked about the new Harvest Moon?
No, we didn't talk about the new Harvest Moon. That was really cool. Katie?
That's all you.
It looks kind of like the last one that came out. The only new animal they have is like a new dog, which we all got a puppy, so awesome.
Yeah, little plushy puppy.
The newest thing that I've seen that they added to it was that you can pretty much customize everything. You can add. The way he stated it was better. It was like Minecraft and Harvest Moon put together. You can just pretty much just customize the whole world, which is pretty cool. You've never been able to do that in a Harvest Moon game, so we'll see how that works out. But that's pretty much all they showed us. They didn't show us too much.
Yeah.
It's neat talking to him though.
Yeah, we actually met with the president of Natsumi, and he was really nice, really cool guy. His name's Hiro, and. They also mentioned you can have female babies, right?
Yeah, now you can have girl babies instead of just boy babies.
AKA daughters instead of sons.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, so you can have daughters now, and you can also be a girl starting out the game, which apparently you could only start out as a boy.
No, the more recent ones you can be a girl.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But yeah, having a daughter is new. You've always just had boys for some reason.
Interesting. That always seems strange to me.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the opposite of Assassin's Creed Unity, where they don't have any female roles. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
Like Assassin's Creed, you can play like online, like 4 players or whatever, but you can't play as a female.
Oh, is this Ubisoft?
Yeah, and they asked them, and they're basically like, well, we got to go and design a new character. How females, they walk differently, and like,
my favorite line
we don't want to do that.
My favorite one is, we were this close to getting a female character. It's like,
that's pretty funny.
I'm gonna be designing. They walk.
Well, what's weird is they had female characters in Black Flag.
Yeah.
Like in the online multiplayer in Black Flag, they had the female characters.
And in the handheld Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Liberation. She was the main character.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a cop out.
Yeah, if they didn't have to make them so complex and curvaceous, maybe they could throw in.
Exactly. It's like that is really dumb.
They actually made realistic female characters. Yeah.
It'd be a lot easier.
Yeah. They're getting all sorts of flack from that, I bet. And
it was immediately after Far Cry that news came out.
Yeah, and Far Cry 4, they're getting flack for the villain being,
We all know.
Yeah. Like, and what the response is and how they're handling it. And,
not very well.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched a video about that, and when they show them all together, all the villains that they've done that with, it is pretty shocking. I should show it to you.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
So that's interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Ubisoft may have all sorts of fun with that.
Yeah.
They may be the next EA.
So I guess we need to talk about Amiibo.
Oh yeah.
Amiibo? Yes.
So what do you guys like? I'm assuming you guys didn't get to touch them. They were in a case. I saw, but like, what do you guys think of them?
Oh no, I stole one. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, we couldn't touch them, but
there's interesting capabilities. they talked about using the amiibo, and not only does it communicate with the game, but it communicates back to the amiibo itself, which you can kind of transfer to other systems and even the 3DS. They've already announced, of course, that Smash Brothers is a part of Project Amiibo, and that'll be the first game that's going to be already handling it. But then after that, they've also cited Mario Kart 8 working with Amiibo. Unfortunately, those are the only two that we've really talked about using Amiibo right now, and hopefully we get more in the future.
Well, they actually announced 5.
Oh, did
Five
they?
that are using it, yeah. They announced Yoshi Woolly World is using Amiibo. Yeah, did you see? It was in the where they're showing off the Amiibo characters. In the back there, they had logos of all the games that it's compatible with. That's right. They showed Smash Brothers, Yoshi Woolly World, Mario Party 10, Mario Kart 8, and maybe the new Rainbow Curse one. But for those, it seems pretty logical because Yoshi Woolly World, they already have a Yoshi amiibo they're making for Smash Brothers, so it's not like they're having to create completely new style, different amiibo for that game. Same thing with Mario Kart. I mean, maybe you make an amiibo that has the kart with the character in it, but that doesn't make much sense. And then with Kirby. With that game, you can easily just take the Kirby from Smash Brothers and put him over there.
Interestingly, they discouraged collecting every single amiibo out there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's a joke or not, but
I think it was a joke. Sakurai mentioned just collecting your favorites first, but he's like, I'm gonna collect all of them.
So what's the benefit of amiibo?
Well, from what I heard, in Super Smash Bros, it's a CPU. It's not, you don't get to play with the actual amiibo toy. So that was kind of weird in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it levels up, and you can bring it over to your friend's house or something, and whip out your little amiibo, and he'll kick your friend's butt real quick. Stuff like that. He levels up. What did they say? Level 50.
Yeah, to level 50. Instead of level 9 is the max for the CPUs, I guess.
Yeah, they get new attacks and stuff, and it looks pretty neat. I don't know if I'm gonna. I might collect the figures, but I don't know if I'll use them.
Yeah, like the automatic play, they didn't really show it too much. I'm hoping it's not fully automatic all the time, or you could use it in some cases, or I don't know. But it seemed kind of strange. But you can also transfer from the 3DS to the Wii U and vice versa. So. That's a cool thing. If you're trying to level up a character, you can take it across to another one. But so far, I mean, if it's just an automatic play, there's really not a whole lot of incentive unless you just like to collect them. But hopefully they'll have some more cool uses in Mario Kart or Yoshi Woolly World or some of those other games.
Did you guys say anything about it?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you hear anything about a price? Your price of the amiibo?
They didn't talk about a price at all.
Nope, not at all.
They didn't mention any pricing. The characters are really well made.
Yeah.
They're very detailed. Have you seen those when they come out with those Link figures, like Link on Epona, or the Samus ones, those really detailed ones? They're obviously a lot bigger, but I felt like the detail was there just on a smaller scale. Even Donkey Kong, he's not just flat, round curves. He actually has
little hair textures.
Yeah, textured hair, and it flicks out just like his character in Smash Brothers. And Samus looked really detailed. Star Fox looked really detailed. Link, Mario's character where he has kind of the fireball going across the front of him. That was really detailed, and so I think they're going to be really high quality and maybe a premium on the price. I mean, they may be $10 each or something.
I hope that's the highest.
Yeah, I hope $10 is the maximum. I really hope it's $5.
Yeah.
I mean, because what are Skylanders?
Those 8 or 10.
7 to 15.
Yeah. Are they $10 for a 3-pack, James, or?
I think they're single. I think they're 8 or 10.
Oh.
Somewhere around there.
So maybe 3 packs for 20 or something like that. Or, So they may be able to get away with selling for 10.
Because to be honest, people are going to buy them at 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of
People
course they are.
are gonna buy them. Whether or not they use them in the game,
Yeah.
people are gonna buy them. I honestly think Nintendo's like, hey, it's a way for us to make extra money
Yeah.
on merchandise, and oh, cool, it works in the game too. You know.
Even though they're high quality, like you say, they probably only cost them like 35 cents to make. It's
Yeah. If they're like printing, making millions of those things, they're making like a dime a dozen, real cheap stuff. So. I'm sure they'll be making money hand over fist with that because it's low maintenance too. With a video game, you have to support it, you have to patch it, you have to do all this stuff even after the game comes out. But what do you have to do with a figure? You ship the figure, it breaks, whatever, buy a new one.
Yeah.
There's no strings attached from a business perspective.
If this one breaks, you lose like so much progression.
Yeah, so don't break it. Actually, you could probably still break the figure itself, but
And the microchip still work,
microchip
yeah.
in the base of it would still be fine. But I kind of wondered if like people will be really rough with the figures in the future, if they'll just end up having the bases of them, and they'll have to just like put them on there to figure out which figure they have.
It'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. I'll just have my little Smash coin figure.
So here's something I thought of. Was there they didn't talk about 2 gamepads at all.
Nope.
No, nothing.
I knew they wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's dead. It's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening.
Like, if it was going to happen, it would have been this E3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they probably tested it, and that they couldn't get a high enough fidelity, visually of a game to really.
It probably starts chugging as soon as you put 2 gamepads up there.
Yeah, I'm sure like the frame rate starts to drop, and really probably the only viable games you could do are like 2D like card games or simple puzzle games. You're not going to be able to do a 3D, HD game like Mario Party with 2 gamepads. So we'll see. And maybe in the future what they do is their next handheld is can act like a gamepad, and it can just hook up to your Wii U at that point, and it's just a miniature gamepad. Who knows?
We got 2 questions. One's really good, one's alright. I'll let you decide which ones or which. From Andrew, he says, do you feel like Nintendo has created enough buzz to get third parties to come back? Have you talked to any of them on it?
It's all going to come down to sales.
Yeah.
I think that's just what it is. There was a lot of buzz. It's all positive for Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of third parties have already said it. In the end, they gotta just keep moving systems. They gotta keep going at the pace that they're going now, in order to regain confidence from third parties.
Yeah, and I think it'll definitely help. Like this holiday, I could see like, maybe third parties start to make games now. Like if they're not, like, oh hey, we need to make a game for Nintendo systems. Smash Brothers is going to sell a lot of systems. Mario Kart is going to sell lots of systems throughout the year. So maybe they start working on it, but we may not even see the fruits of this positive feedback and the potential sales that they think are going to come from it. I don't think we'll even see big third-party games till next year. Obviously, we're going to have Watch Dogs at the end of the year, but I think it's less of a heavy hitter in the sense that they didn't release at the same time as the other systems. You're not going to have nearly as many sales.
Do you think there'll be more companies like Ubisoft that are sitting on Wii U games, or have them kind of like halfway through production and they kind of stop?
Yeah.
I think Ubisoft is unique in that they have the money to be able to do stuff like that, to be able to like produce and then just sit on it. Whereas like smaller gaming companies, I don't think would like take that kind of financial risk.
Yeah. And companies like EA probably never even started development on something, and they're just like, we're just hating Nintendo, whatever.
So it could be Activision, or Square, or
do what?
And maybe
Activision or Square. They could have started something.
Yeah, I think Square might turn around and start developing for the home console more, because really the last Square game on a Nintendo home console was maybe like Crystal Chronicles or Crystal Bearers.
Yeah, Crystal Chronicles, I think.
Yeah, the sequel they had on the Wii, which didn't do great, but yeah, I think we could see a little bit of a turnaround, but I don't know if it'll be immediate.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see, like, next week Ubisoft announces
It'll definitely be at least a year, if not longer, that we're going to see the effects, like really see the effects.
Yeah. But I think it's a step in the right direction. Like we said, it was all positive.
Yeah.
So it's only good.
Was the buzz similar to the 3DS buzz? As a 3DS announcement, remember we went everywhere we went. People were like, oh, did you try this 3DS thing yet? And everyone.
Yeah, I think it was very similar in that regard. But I think Nintendo, in that instance, I think they kind of took advantage of that and got a little too cocky, and they're like, oh, we can sell it for $250. Because I think they probably were like, oh, they probably asked people, hey, would you pay $250 for this? Yeah, this is awesome. They're on like a high of, glassless 3D, and they were just like, oh, this is so cool. So I think, that kind of wore off pretty quick. But I think that same sort of buzz that was E3 at E3 with the 3DS launch, I think that was very similar to what was at this year. Smash Brothers was definitely the big thing, but Zelda is huge, and Zelda creates buzz all over. Like, I saw even Felicia Day, who's like one of YouTube's top people. Yeah, darlings. I mean, they pay her to have like all these shows on YouTube.
And they should be paying us.
Yeah, and she did like a whole video on the new Zelda or something like yesterday or today, talking about the bow and arrow and including some footage and stuff.
Hey, I know you said you'd get mad at me if I went on tangents, but whatever happened to that Zelda Williams thing? That never happened, did it?
No, she was in the Smash tournament.
Oh, she was in the Smash tournament?
Yeah, she was. They had celebrities or something come on stage, and so she was in that.
Okay.
It's not special. That's just something
special.
everybody did.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
And what everyone needs to watch once this ends is Conan O'Brien play Smash Brothers.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I retweeted it on the Twitter account.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Basically, he's like, the only thing I'll say is that Samus comes up and he goes, wait a minute, is that one of the guys from Daft Punk?
Nice.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. He does it better.
Nice. Oh, I'll have to check it out. Well, we should let you get to bed, James.
Yes.
And let us get to bed.
Hey,
We've got one more.
As much as I hate prolonging our suffering, did you say you had another question for us?
Oh, yeah.
I have one more question.
Sorry.
Will the Koopalings get amiibo figures? How about their own game? Starring Row in the next 3D Mario? Anything.
Ooh.
Actually, hold on. Let me redo that. Anything!
Anything. Yeah.
Their own game? Probably not. Their amiibos?
I think that's
likely, I think. Or at least a few of them.
Especially with Mario Kart, since they announced that Mario Kart was going to be compatible. I mean, you have to figure every game that they announce with amiibo compatibility, they're going to have exclusive amiibos for those games, you would think. And what are exclusive to Mario Kart 8? The Koopalings, know? And I think they would make great little amiibo characters. People would love collecting those. Oh, I got, Larry and Ludwig and, all that, Wendy O.
And the rest.
Yeah. Like, I think that would be cool. People would like to collect those. So I imagine we'll see the amiibo characters. I think that's kind of a given. Now their own game, probably not. But they may be in future Mario games. And, once the amiibos are out for Mario Kart 8, hey, you can use those same amiibos for Mario 3D World 2. So, yeah, I think that's a good observation and question by that person. I do think they're probably looking at that.
So, any final thoughts on E3? You guys have one more day left.
I'll have better thoughts when you can collect them coherently.
Yeah.
A lot of video.
Yeah, well, a lot
What was your
of
first 3D? First E3.
What?
How was your first E3?
Yeah, it was awesome. I was kind of overwhelmed the first day, but I got over it because it was too exciting. It was a little distracting. So, yeah, I had a really good time. I was hoping to see Miyamoto, but that didn't happen. So
No Miyamoto.
Maybe one day. But I had a really good time. I'm glad I came. It was awesome. Ready for bed.
Yeah.
Matt, how was your second? Was it better than last year?
You know, I mean, I'm still like putting the score on that. There was more to do, and I always like working. I hated last year where when I had gaps between appointments, or I just kind of like peruse around the floor and just like I had nothing to do, and I just felt like I was twiddling my thumbs. But this year it was like one teams where you're like game to 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 game.
Yeah, it was stacked.
Yeah, doing that, like I felt like it was much more fulfilling, and like talking with all these people about these games it was a lot of fun.
Do you feel more relaxed? Cause,
No,
you know,
not even close.
I remember my first time. Like it's essentially overload. It's you just there's just so much going on. He's like, wow, and it was kind of useless. It's like, well, I was here. I don't remember doing anything.
Exactly.
It's like you get going, and when you get up to Justin, 8th year or whatever it is, it's old.
He's a veteran.
I'm old. I'm old, Greg.
Yeah, I know when Justin showed me the schedule, but we reviewed like on Wednesday. I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna be so tired.
Yeah, it was just packed today.
Another appointment. We got like 1 point of rest, and then we ended up doing that with shooting another video on that break anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, it's good not to have rest because, like you're saying, like even if you have like say, I have an hour, that hour is not enough to do anything.
yeah.
Like, the lines are so long. Like, what are you gonna do? Really, you just sit and walk around aimlessly.
Yeah, it's like if you go back to Nintendo's booth to play Smash Brothers, that hour spent waiting to play it once, you know.
And if you're in the other hall, by the time you walk there, you gotta turn around and walk back. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
That part I don't miss. I've been sitting on my butt all day.
Yeah. Blessed sitting.
All right, well, I guess we will end it there.
Yeah.
I would ask what you guys been playing, but I don't want to know.
We haven't played anything. We played everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
We played everything, but not enough of everything.
Yeah.
Like, played everything, but not enough of any one game, you know? Like, I always wanted to play a little bit more, but we basically play like 5 minutes of every game, maybe 10 minutes or something for some games. But I may get to play some more tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought you were going to go see your family.
Jury's still out. Family, video games. What would you decide, readers?
That's our new reader poll.
Yeah.
Family or video games?
Yeah. You decide.
All right, well, I guess that's a wrap. We can all go to our slumbers and dream about Zelda. I know I'll be dreaming about Zelda.
Yes, I'm going to be dreaming about that for a long time.
I think it's the only one I've watched like a dozen times. Everything else I've only seen like once. But Zelda.
Yeah, I've only seen it twice now. I need to watch it more though. When I get back, I'm gonna be like download it in HD and just pour it over it.
Yes.
Create a background wallpaper on my computer or something.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the awesome E3 LA team. It's been great. And Justin is like a 12-year-old girl at tweeting. And I mean that as a compliment.
I was just going super fast. That was all on my phone, everybody. All the tweets for the round tables.
I couldn't.
My hand was cramping up big time.
Like, yeah, but both.
I don't have 12-year-old hands.
Both round tables. It's like, wow, I didn't know how you were doing that. It was impressive.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. It was fun.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
having us.